It is 4:30 a.m., and you are lying in a bunk bed that is bolted to the floor of a steel box, which is suspended 200 feet above a black, unforgiving ocean. The walls are painted a sterile, institutional off-white that stopped being white 3 years ago. The air conditioning blasts at an aggressive 64 degrees to fight the equatorial heat outside, smelling faintly of ozone, stale coffee, and industrial degreaser. You share this 6 by 8 foot room with a guy named Miller. You only know his name is Miller because it's sharpied on the collar of his Nomex coveralls. You have lived within 3 feet of him for 2 weeks, and you have spoken exactly 14 words to him. He works the night shift. When you are horizontal, he is vertical. You are two ghosts sharing a closet, haunting the same mattress in shifts. You swing your legs out of bed. Your boots are heavy. They have steel toes, steel shanks, and soles designed to grip surfaces coated in drilling mud and grease. You put them on. You zip up the bright orange coveralls. You step out into the corridor. You are a worker on a deep-water semi-submersible oil rig located 150 miles off the coast. If the corporate world is a ladder, this is a centrifuge. It spins the weak ones out in the first hitch. You have been here for 4 years. You are 28, but your knees feel 40 and your hands look 50. They are permanently stained, the lines of your palms etched with a crude oil tattoo that lava soap will never entirely wash away. You walk to the galley. It is 5 in the morning. The galley is the only place on this 50,000-ton floating island that has color. The company knows that if you strip a man of grass, trees, silence, and his family, you must replace it with calories. There is prime ribs and crab legs. There is a dessert bar that rivals a Las Vegas casino. You take a plate of powdered eggs and black coffee. You sit at a table with 4 other men in orange. Nobody speaks. The sound of chewing is drowned out by the omnipresent, low-frequency hum of the diesel generators. The hum is the heartbeat of the rig. If the hum stops, your heart stops. At 5:45 a.m., you step out onto the deck. The heat hits you like a physical blow. It is a wet, suffocating blanket of salt air and exhaust fumes. The ocean stretches out in every direction, a flat gray void that meets a gray sky. There is no horizon, there is only the rig. It is a cathedral of rust and steel, a violent tangle of pipes, derricks, cranes, and catwalks. It is aggressively hostile to human life. Everything here is heavy enough to crush you, hot enough to burn you, or pressurized enough to cut you in half. Your shift begins 12 hours. From 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. you are a roughneck on the drill floor. Your job is to connect 90-foot segments of steel pipe, weighing 2 tons each, as they are shoved into the Earth's crust to bleed it dry. You work with massive hydraulic tongs. You work in a constant shower of synthetic drilling mud that makes the steel deck as slippery as black ice. You do not think about the politics of fossil fuels. You do not think about the climate. You think about keeping your fingers attached to your hands for the next 11 hours and 42 minutes. By hour 4, your lower back is a solid block of pain. By hour 8, you are operating entirely on muscle memory and the nicotine lozenge tucked into your lower lip. You watch the driller inside his climate-controlled doghouse, staring at a wall of monitors, manipulating joysticks that control millions of pounds of force. He is the brain. You are the muscle. You are a biological gasket in a billion-dollar machine. The rig pumps 150,000 barrels of oil a day. At current market rates, that is $12 million of dark, liquid capital surging up through the riser beneath your boots every 24 hours. You make $115,000 a year. It is a staggering amount of money for a guy who barely graduated high school in a town where the factory shut down a decade ago. It is the trap, the golden handcuffs. You work 21 days on, 21 days off. For 3 weeks, you do not exist to the real world. When you get off shift at 6 p.m., you strip off the mud-caked coveralls. You stand in a high-pressure shower until the water runs clear. You eat another silent meal. Then you walk to the recreation room to fight for bandwidth. You sit in a plastic chair holding your phone, staring at the satellite Wi-Fi connection bars. You call your wife. The screen flickers. Her face appears in heavily pixelated squares. She is in the kitchen back home, the kitchen you paid for. She tells you about the water heater breaking. She tells you about your son's soccer game. He scored a goal. It gets you excited. But there is a 2-second satellite delay. Your words hang in space, bouncing off a piece of metal in the exosphere before they reach her kitchen. That 2-second delay is the story of your life. You are always 2 seconds behind the people you love. You watch your son grow up in a series of choppy, buffering video frames. You are a provider, an absolute financial pillar for your family, but physically and emotionally you are a ghost hovering 150 miles offshore. The call drops. You don't try to reconnect. You stare at the black screen, you walk out to the perimeter walkway. It is 10 p.m. and the sun is gone, the ocean is pitch black. The rig is lit up by 1,000 blinding halogen lamps, a fortress of light in an absolute void. Above you, the flare boom roars, violently burning off excess gas. It sounds like a jet engine that never takes off. It paints the clouds a furious, demonic orange. You lean against the cold steel railing. You look down at the water crashing against the massive yellow pontoons far below. You realize what the money actually buys. Half the guys on this rig drive $80,000 lifted trucks that they only touch 6 months out of the year. They own boats they never take to the lake. They are on their second or third divorces. They buy toys to fill the 21-day hole in their lives, trying to compress a month of normal human existence into a frantic 3-week binge of spending and drinking before the helicopter takes them back. You tell yourself you won't be like them. You tell yourself you'll do this for 5 years, pay off the mortgage, build a nest egg, and get a job on land. A normal job. But then you think about a normal job. You think about making $22 an hour sitting in a cubicle or standing behind a counter, dealing with angry customers over expired coupons. You think about the quiet, the mundane, safe, terrifyingly slow pace of the civilian world. You realize the rig has ruined you for anything else. The adrenaline, the danger, and the sheer brutal scale of this place has rewired your brain. You are addicted to the isolation. You are addicted to the extreme simplicity of this life. Out here, there are no politics, no social media drama, no ambiguous relationship problems. Out here, the rules are simple. Follow the procedure, don't get crushed, and keep the drill turning. Your 21-day hitch ends on a Tuesday. You pack your duffel bag. You put on your civilian clothes. Jeans and a t-shirt that feel bizarrely light without the heavy boots and the fire-retardant fabric. You sit in the briefing room waiting for the helicopter. The Sikorsky S-92 lands on the helipad. The noise is deafening. You walk out head ducked, smelling the aviation fuel. You strap into the tight, uncomfortable seat. You put on the noise-canceling headset. The chopper lifts off. The rig shrinks beneath you. In 30 seconds, it goes from a towering monster of steel to a tiny, insignificant speck of rust lost in an endless expanse of blue. An hour later, you land on the tarmac on shore. The doors open. The doors open and you step onto the concrete. The earth doesn't move. There is no vibration beneath your feet. There is no roar of the generators. You hear birds and highway traffic. You walk to your truck in the long-term parking lot. You turn the key. You drive onto the highway, heading toward a house, a wife, and a child who have lived 3 weeks of their lives entirely without you. You have all the time in the world for the next 21 days. You are a king returning to his castle. You have achieved the ultimate American dream of financial security. You grip the steering wheel. You look at the green trees blurring past the window. And you catch yourself, just for a fraction of a second, wishing you were back in the iron box, 200 feet above the black water where everything makes sense.